The Tonight Show Band, here they are. How's everybody doing? It is so awesome to be able to be with you. I love being at Zoe Church. One of my favorite places to go to is Zoe Church. I love Pastor Bishop, or Bishop Ed and his beautiful wife, and always give honor where honor is due. You have an amazing bishop and his wife. They're incredible. Dear, dear friends, and Pastor Josh and his wife. I know they're gone, but always giving honor to them. So awesome to be able to be with you guys today and be able to hang out a little bit and talk a little bit about church. My name's Chris. I am the founding pastor of South Hills Church. We have 12 locations. I don't do a lot of the day-to-day as much. I do a lot of our original campuses in Corona, but now we're all over the place. Right now, I spend a lot of my time with Church Boom. We coach pastors and rescue dying churches. And America is closing here, listen to this, the highest stat ever. In 2024, America closed 3 churches for every one that opened. And so we're going in the wrong direction. And so what we do is we work with churches that are about to close their door and bring it back to life, because we believe if the light shines brightly in the church, it will make a difference in America. And our difference, we don't hang our hat on any president or any government. We hang our hat on Jesus, because we know he's the one that's going to make a difference. So for the last 5 years, we have been fighting for America's churches. So we take churches, coach them for a year or two, and bring them back to life. You guys, when you give to Zoe Church, you guys are supporting monthly. You're supporting rescuing churches. Because I know Bishop and I know Pastor Josh, and they don't just care about the church. They care about the church. And that's what matters, and this is the bride of Christ. So, hey, it's awesome to be able to be with you. And a little bit more about me. I live in San Clemente Beach, right down the 5 freeway. I have been married for 34 years. Yes. She's hot. And she's Mexican, so I call her my hot tamale. And she's awesome. We've been married for 34 years. My Mexican wife, she doesn't speak any English, but that helps us get along. We don't really understand what each other is saying, so how can you argue? Then we have 2 amazing children, and then we have this third one. No, I'm totally playing. Can you imagine how rude that would be? And then we have 2 granddaughters, a 5-year-old and about to be 3-year-old. And then, give me this one, we have a grandson that's 9 days old. And yeah, oh, he's awesome. And we love grandparenting, way better than parenting. And it's God's gift to you for you not killing your own kid. That's really what it is. I think I told you a couple of years ago, but I remember I was holding my granddaughter one time, and my adult son looks at me, "Dad, it's like you love her more." I said, "No, it's not like I do. I do." Grandparents, am I right? Come on. You had a good run. It's over for you. But it's awesome to be able to be with you guys and be able to hang out with you amazing people, and absolutely love this church. And it's just awesome to be able to be with you guys. If you have a Bible, go to Mark chapter 5. We're going to go there in just a moment. If you don't have a Bible, next time at a hotel, get one. They're free. I steal them and then I sell them to rescue churches. I'm trying to do my part. And we're going to look at Mark 5 in just a moment, but my family, we are a baseball family. We absolutely love baseball. Anybody baseball fans here? How many are Dodger fans? Let me see the Dodger fans. Yeah, a little bit of noise. How many Angel fans? Always quiet. Right there he is, brother. Hey, you guys won a game 6 weeks ago. I'm really proud of you guys. Let's keep it up. But we love baseball. Matter of fact, I mean, my son and I have been to all 30 baseball stadiums. There's not a Major League Baseball stadium we've never been to. We love baseball, absolutely love it. My daughter came first, and then my son came second about 2 years later. And when he came along, I was like, man, I want him badly to be a left-hander, because if you know anything about baseball, being a lefty is a big deal. And I wanted him to be a lefty. So when he's born, you know, he's 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. He's kind of eating with his right hand and eating with his left hand. We've never had a lefty in our family, so I figured he's probably a righty. But he was kind of eating left, right, you know, all that stuff. So then he's about 4 years old, and I figure it's 4 years old. It's time to get him a glove. You know, the Bible says, train your child in the way they should go. So I was just following Scripture, and So I got him a glove, and I take him to the front yard. I give him so I figured he throws with his right hand, so I give him a glove, put it on his hand. I got to teach him. So I'm in the front yard throwing a tennis ball to him. It bounces off his glove. Now I said, okay, son, you're going to throw back, and you're going to like this, and you throw like this, He picks up the ball with his right hand, and he goes like this. And I thought, oh, dear God, he can't play. There's no way he's from our loins. And so then I go, okay, try it again, son. So I do that, and he throws it again. I remember yelling out to my wife, there's a problem, just like he's been switched at birth. And so then the third time I accidentally throw it over his head. He runs back to grab it. And before I could tell him he was throwing with the wrong hand, he picked it up with his left hand, and he fired the ball at me. And that's when you heard the cloud. They opened up, and the heavens and angels were singing. And they were singing because I was like, he's a lefty. So, man, immediately we get him into baseball. He's playing at 4 years old, playing baseball. 5 years old, 6 years old. He was pitching and doing really well. At 7 years old, I had a little tattoo put on his left arm, said 401k. I was thinking about my future. And so he's sitting there, he's 7 years old, and he's pitching, he's taking lessons, he's doing really well and just getting better and better at baseball. One day he comes home after school. Now, keep in mind, I'm rarely ever home in the middle of the day, but I happen to be home that day. He comes running through the house, finds me in the kitchen. He's like, Dad, I got to sign up for this. He's holding the flyer. He's waving the flyer around. Dad, I got to sign up for this. I want to sign up for this. Please let me sign up for this. I'm okay, let me see this flyer. I see the flyer, and it's a sign up for a soccer league. And I said, son, we don't do that in this house. We're Christians. But Dad, I want to sign up. I'm okay, I'll sign you up. Fine, we sign up. Now, if you've ever signed up for any sort of little baseball, whatever league, doesn't matter. This is a soccer league. You know that opening day looks like this. Opening day is all the little kids get their little individual pictures with a little soccer ball, and then they all line up, and there's a little banner behind them with all the names. Well, it's opening day, and all the little 7 to 8-year-old, my son was 7, it was a 7 and 8-year-old team, they're all lined up. And you got all these teams with these little banners behind them. And you've got the Cougars, the Tigers, the Lions, the Panthers, the Jaguars. And then you get to my son's team, the Bumblebees. How can you have any confidence called the Bumblebees? And they were horrible. They did not know how to play. But the entire time, while they were playing soccer and at every practice and at every game, the coach would always say, protect your territory. If you're over here, protect your territory. If you're standing over here, protect it. If you're at the goal and you're the goalie, protect your what? Protect your territory. Well, those kids didn't listen because they lost every game. We got to the final game of the season. Our record was 0-15. We hadn't won a game, not one. And the team we were playing on the last game was 15-0. They'd never lost a game. Best team, worst team. So we get out there, the little Bumblebees, they're a mess. And they get out there, and the coach is yelling, protect your territory, but they're not listening. So they get out there. The kid, now there's a kid on the other team, a little Mexican boy. His dad on the other side, whenever the little Mexican boy would get the ball, the dad would yell out something in Spanish, and he would score every time. It was like magic. He get the ball, dad yells out on the other side in Spanish. I don't understand Spanish, and he gets a goal every time. It's 2-0, 5-0, 12-0. We get to halftime. It is 18-0. That's how bad we're losing. And you should see the Bumblebees come in. Their wings are all broken. They're like, just depressed as ever. And I love the coach. The coach is all, you kids are doing good. I'm like, what game are you watching? They're horrible, And so now get back out. It's time to play the second half. 19-0, 20-0, blah, blah, blah. 29-0 with 2 minutes on the clock. They blow a little whistle. 2 minutes on the clock. Okay, they're playing. It's 29-0. We haven't scored this whole time. It's 29-0. And about a minute left on the clock, 1 minute on the clock. The ball comes right here. I'm on the sideline. Comes right here. And here comes the kid from the other team, little Pele. And he comes around, and he starts kicking the ball. But check this out. The kid on the other team, the one that was scoring all the time, the little Mexican boy, he starts going the wrong way. And the dad on the other side is yelling in Spanish, and I know he's yelling, you're going the wrong way. I don't understand it, but I know that's what he's yelling. But I don't want him to hear his dad. Because it occurs to me, this is our only chance to score. If he doesn't score, we're not getting anything on the board. So here he comes. He gets the ball. He's going the wrong way. Dad is yelling in Spanish. I don't want him to hear his dad. So I run down the sideline with this boy from the other team, yelling out the only Spanish words I know, aquí, aquí, andale, andale, trying to. He's looking up the whole time. Who's this white guy with the big head? And he scores for us. The little kids on our team, they pick him up on their shoulders, and he's sitting up there going, what's going on? Totally confused. So the score was 29-1, and the one came from them. Now, the entire time, the coach kept yelling out to the kids, protect your territory, protect your territory, protect your territory. Territory is something that is protected all the time in sports. I love baseball. You got to protect your territory. Okay, football, you got to protect your territory. Hockey or basketball or soccer, there's always a territory to protect. That's not only true in sports, that's true in life. Think about this. Whenever one country fights another country, what are they really, truly fighting for? Territory. Okay, one country says to the other country, we want your money. We want your oil. We want your resources. We want your land. That's what they're fighting for. They're fighting for territory. But this is not only true in this physical world that we live in, it's also true in the spiritual world as well. There is a territory that we all have that the enemy is constantly fighting against that territory. Now, here's what the territory looks like. That's you standing in the middle. Look how happy you are. And relationships, children, finances, marriage, career, spiritual life, emotional life, and mental health, emotional health, whatever. Every one of us have something in our territory that we want it to thrive and we want it to do well, but the enemy's always fighting for the territory. The fight is always the territory. There is a great story in Mark chapter 5. Jesus, this is the ultimate scene of good versus evil. And I want to show you in Mark chapter 5 this scene that happens with Jesus and this demon-possessed guy. Let's pick it up at verse 1. They went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the iron on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with stones. Now let's stop there. Picture what that would look like. Go back with me 2,000 years ago. Jesus gets in the boat, tells the disciples, hey, let's go over to the other side of this area, this kind of marina, if you will. Let's go to the other side to an area called Gerasenes. So they row over. This is how they row, by the way. They row over. They get to the other side. Jesus, see what that would look like in your mind. Try to picture what that would look like. Jesus gets out of this worn-out boat. He gets out, and he steps onto the sand, and the sand kind of goes uphill a little, and he's walking up the sand, and up comes this demon-possessed man. And there is this confrontation between Jesus and the demon-possessed man. Now, if you would just take the next few minutes and lean in a way you've never done at church before, take more notes than you've ever taken before, and really listen. I believe that this incredible good versus evil, if you will, conversation between Jesus and a demon-possessed man will revolutionize your life, and you will not leave here the same. I really believe that, but you got to dive in. Okay, let's pick it up where we left up. So Jesus comes up, the demon-possessed man comes to him, and now it's confrontation time. Here we go, verse 6. When he, the demon-possessed guy, saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him, and he shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want from me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" Now let's stop there. What do you want from me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? And then, well, let's go on. He says, in God's name, don't torture me. Let's just stop there. Okay, so he comes up, Jesus, the man meets him and says, what do you want with me, Jesus, Son of God? Now, why is this important? Why am I stopping there? Because right now, we're all thinking that Jesus is having a conversation with a demon-possessed man. But I would argue that Jesus is having a conversation with the actual demon. Here's why. Because the man comes up to Jesus and says, Jesus, Son of the Most High God. The disciples didn't even know that Jesus was the Son of God yet. If the disciples don't know he's a Son of God, how would this crazy man living in tombs, cutting himself, demon-possessed. How would he know he's the Son of God? I don't think Jesus is having a conversation with the demon-possessed man. I think Jesus is having a conversation with the demon. This is an intense, intense moment. Now, let's pick it up. One of my favorite parts. Here it is. For Jesus had said to him, come out of this man, you impure spirit. Now, okay, that seems real calm. But in my mind, I don't think it's Jesus going, hey, you got to get out of there, please. Can you see it? I think it would be a lot more intense. I think it would be Jesus going, get out now. You know, like it's intense. Come out now. But look at the next part. This cracks me up. Maybe I see the humor in a lot of things. Look, it says, Jesus said to him, come out of this man, you impure spirit. You can feel the heat of the conversation. Then this cracks me up. Then Jesus goes, oh, what's your name? Like, that is really weird. Come out of the man. Oh, wait a minute. What's your name? Yeah, it seems like a odd question. Why would Jesus ask a question to something he already knew the answer to, for starters? He already knew what the demon's name was. Why would he ask him that? He asked him that so that you and I would look at the scripture maybe a little bit differently here in July of 2025. He asked him, what is your name? Okay, which is really an interesting question in the middle of it. Like, what does it matter? But it did matter. Look what it says. He asked him, what is your name? My name is, help me out. My name is what? For we are what? Okay, now, stay with me. Legion at that time is a Roman Empire term. The Roman Empire term meant 6,000 or more. So, what is your name? My name is Legion, being there are 6,000 of us in here. 6,000 of us in here. We'll get back to that in just a moment. Here comes my favorite part. And he begged. What did he do? And he what? And he, Jesus, again and again. I mean, this is like he's pleading with him. Look at this part. Don't miss this part. Not to send him out of the area, but another word for area is what? Did you catch this? Here's what this is an incredible thing, because the demon meets Jesus, the demon-possessed man meets Jesus, and Jesus says, get out of there. And the demon doesn't even argue about leaving the man. But what does he beg? But please, let me stay in the territory. Isn't that interesting? I'll leave the man, but let me stay in the territory. Put it on the screen for me, because this is a point, kind of two things I want to get across. Here's the first one. The enemy wasn't concerned with leaving the man. The enemy was concerned with leaving the territory. He's not so concerned. I mean, he is concerned about us, but it's the territory. There's a lot more there. Okay, that's why some of us here, our kids aren't serving God, because he's after the territory. Some of us have grandkids ain't serving God because he's after the territory. Some of us, our finances are a mess. Our marriage is a mess. Our relationships are a mess. Or whatever, just fill in the blank. Okay? Because he's not just coming after the person. He's coming after the territory. He's always coming after the territory. He's always looking to hurt the territory. I do a lot of flying. I fly about 160 to 180 flights a year. That's a lot of flying. And by the way, I still hate flying. I fly all the time with all the stuff that we do. I fly all the time, but I still hate flying. You ever notice the last word you see before you get on the plane is the word terminal? Who came up with that idea? Let's name it terminal. It may as well say you're going to die. And I do a lot of flying, and my wife tells me, you fly all the time, 180 flights a year, but yet you're the most nervous on the flight. I'm telling you, I am the most nervous. So a while back, I get on this flight, and I'm on a Southwest flight. If you know anything about a Southwest flight, basically, it's a cattle call, because there's no assigned seating. You get on Southwest, and it's a free-for-all. And I was one of the last to get on there, so that meant I had to get a middle seat, which I hate middle seats. So now I'm like, okay, what do I got to pick? So I get a middle seat. Now, I'm in the middle. The lady on the window, now listen to me, she's 100 pounds, and she's reading a book. And she's totally to herself. That's who you want to sit next to. Little 100-pound old lady reading a book. That's the ideal person. I'm in the middle. She's at the window. But on the aisle is this monster of a man. He had to be probably 6'5". He looked like a linebacker, probably 300 pounds, big old man. He was so big, he was bleeding into my chair. Like his arm was coming over. I figured about $60 worth. He was coming in. I actually wanted to charge him. Like, you got Zelle, dude? You owe me $60. So he's a big old dude, right? And he's sitting kind of over on my side, and I'm just all crunched in the middle of the seat. It was horrible, okay? Now, the phone rings. Everybody, they're getting ready to close the plane up. They're closing the door, and his phone rings. He answers the phone. The big old guy answers the phone. And he starts talking. I don't know who he's talking to, whatever he's talking about. A lady comes by, the flight attendant. Now, stay with me on the story. Flight attendant comes by and says, sir, you got to get off the phone. He goes, yeah, I will. He was rude, but whatever. Okay? Now, the plane starts backing up from the jet thing there, the bridge. The plane starts backing up. He's still on the phone. And the lady comes by and says, sir, second time, you got to get off the phone. He puts the phone down. He goes, I'll get off when I want to. And I thought, this is going to get good. I grabbed the free peanuts and the free pretzels, and I was watching the show, Had the video out, because no one gets involved anymore. We just video everything. And then, so I'm sitting there, and now we pull back, and now we pull on the runway. He is still on the phone. Third time, the flight attendant comes by, and she's all, sir, third time, you got to get off the phone now. We're backed up. You got to get off now. He puts it down like this. He goes, I'll get off the phone when I want to, and started cussing her out. Every imaginable horrible word you could say to a woman, he was saying. And he was letting her have it. She's trying to defend herself, and he's letting her have it. And I'm thinking in my mind, someone's got to get involved. Someone bigger than me. I'm 5'11" and on my way down, so this is not going to work. So finally, I had to speak up because this guy was just rude. I thought, this is not cool. So he's just going after her, cussing her out. Just demeaning her. It was horrible. Finally, I said to him, dude, can't you be nice? And he looked down at me like this. It took like 20 minutes. And he said, what did you say to me? And I switched it real quick. I said, do you have any ice? You have to be fast. You got to be quick, especially when survival is on the line. So we end up taking off, and everything's fine. Have you ever been on a plane, especially if it's going through a storm? It was raining that day. You go through the rain if you've ever been on a plane, and it kind of does this a little bit, but it's not bad. Then you got to go through the clouds. You got to go through the storm all the way through so you can get up to the blue sky. And it's weird. You just pop above the clouds and the storm. So we take off, and we're going through the rain, right? And the rain's going like this, and I don't like it, and I starting to tighten my seatbelt. I don't know what difference that's going to make from 20,000 feet in the air, but I tighten my seatbelt, and we're going up and I don't like it, Then all of a sudden, we get in the storm, and I'm talking, bam, bam, bam. The plane is just going crazy. And I'm the pastor on the flight, but I'm the one that's most nervous. This is it. I'm just yelling stuff out. Glory, hallelujah, And I'm going through, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 and we're just going, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden, about the 7th or 8th minute, man, boom, we rise up, and we're in the blue skies where it's peace and calm. It's an amazing thing if you've ever done it before on a plane. It's incredible. The same thing is true with our life. There is a season of a storm that we go through, and we have a territory of our kids, our grandkids, our finances, our marriage. And man, sometimes we get in here and we just want to go land the plane and give up. But if you will hang on, you will pop up through and you will see the blue sky. I promise you it's there. You just got to hang in there before you get up to that area, because you know that you're going to get to the blue sky. Please understand something. You cannot change what you choose to tolerate. You have to decide today, I'm not letting the enemy have my children or my grandchildren or my finances or my future or my life or my health or my emotional health or my mental health or my marriage. I'm not letting him have any. You got to fight through that to get above to the blue sky. And the blue sky's there for those that are willing to fight through the storm. And you fight through and you just say, man, enemy, get your hands off my life because I'm busting through. Now let me give you the second thing I want you to write down. Here it is. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. The enemy doesn't just fight you for where you are. He fights you for where you're going. He doesn't just fight the territory of where you're at right now. He also fights for where you're going. Because, you know why? Now say with me. Because he sees your potential and it frightens him. Think about it for a moment. Go back with me in the story. What was the demon's name? And how many does Legion represent? Okay, hold on. Stay with me. Just go with me on this thought. What was this man's potential that the enemy thought, I got to put 6,000 demons in this one? What was that guy going to do? What was he going to become? What part of a book that he would have wrote? I don't know. What was he going to do? He was going to do something that the enemy thought, oh, he's bothering me now, but I see what he could become. The enemy does that all the time. Stay with me. It didn't just happen there. When Jesus was born, what did the enemy orchestrate with Herod? Kill all the babies under 2. Why? Because the enemy looked down and said, oh, I see what this little baby Jesus can do. I'm going to take care of that problem. Now, stay with me. How about let's go to the Old Testament? Moses, he's born. Pharaoh comes along, orchestrates it with the enemy and says, same thing. Let's kill all the babies under the age 2. Why? Because the enemy looked down and thought, oh, I see what that little Moses can do. And I'm going to take care of that problem right now. I think of Vivian, who was 15 years old, pregnant, 15 years old, in juvenile hall. Pregnant, 15 years old, in juvenile hall. Friend of mine, I've known her for years. Pregnant, 15-year-old juvenile hall. Everybody in there is telling her to get rid of the inmates, get rid of the baby. The counselors, get rid of the baby. The warden, everybody said, get rid of the baby. You can't offer it a good life. Abort the baby. She goes against everybody. She has the baby, gets out of juvenile hall, marries the man that got her pregnant. They're still married today. The little boy, his name, they gave birth to the little boy, and they named him Hector. Right now, he is preaching in Sacramento, California, to a church of 1,500 people that he pastors. And I just got to believe. I'm just believing that the enemy looked down at the pregnant 15-year-old and said, oh, I know what this little baby's going to do. And I'm going to try to take care of this problem right now. I think about my own life. I'm the youngest of 5 children in my family. I was born in Long Beach, California. I was born in Long Beach Memorial, where Tiger Woods was born. He got the money. I was just born. And born and youngest of 5. Apparently, sometime in July, I'm 2 years old in Long Beach. I don't remember this. I'm only 2 years old. And apparently, there was a birthday party across the street from my parents' house. All 7 of us went over there. I'm probably in diapers. I'm 2 years old in July. So we're on the other side of the street. There's a little pool, the birthday party with a pool in the back, a swimming pool. Everybody's back there having a good time, whatever. A bunch of families, 30, 40 people back there. Then all of a sudden, they hear the ice cream man. Does anyone remember that? The ice cream man? That's the guy who was, selling ice cream, but he was half on drugs. You remember that guy. You want to snow cone, kids? And so anyway, everybody rushes out to the ice cream man because they hear the music. My mom went this way, my dad went this way, and I was the only one left in the backyard. They forgot me. 2 years old. I fall in to the deep end of the pool. I'm laying at the bottom of the deep end of the pool. My older sister comes back to grab her towel off of the little chair, and she looks down and sees me at the bottom. Otherwise, I'm not here. Now, I am not anything more special or less special than you. We're just all children of God. But I do have to believe this, that the enemy looked down in that little pool with a little 2-year-old boy and said, oh, I know what this kid's going to do, and I'm going to take care of that problem right now. And I got to believe that he says the same thing about you. Oh, I know what you can do. And I don't care if you're 15 years old in here or 85 years old in here. God's not done with you. When he's done with you, you'll be dead. Until then, he's got something for you. And I think he looks down and I think he sees your potential. You ever thought about this? I think the enemy sees more potential in us than we see in ourselves. He sees what you could become. He sees what you could do. Stay with me. He sees the book. In this room, he sees the book that has not yet been written. You keep talking about it, don't you? He sees the business idea that you keep saying you have and you don't do anything about. He sees all of that. And what we do is we get caught up in fear, and we get caught up in doubt, and we get caught up in insecurity. And here's a big one. We get caught up in other people's opinions. Isn't that true? I've noticed, Bishop, people that are above me, like Bishop, they're always trying to pull me up. People that are below me are always trying to pull me down. People will always pull you down to a level that's comfortable for themselves. You know why they do that? Because your desire for excellence threatens their mediocrity. That's what it does. And they're always going to do that. And we feel that. We feel like this is the best it's going to be. This is the smartest I'll be. This is the most I'll ever succeed. And I think the enemy is just going, good, keep thinking that because I'll keep you right there. And I got to believe with all of my heart that some of you in this room, you barely made it past childbirth. You almost died as a baby. Some of you in here in your childhood or your teenage years, you barely made it. Mom walked out, dad walked out, this happened, that happened, all these things happened. In your adulthood, it's a miracle that you're here, you're hanging on. You're like, why am I even here? And all of these things, you're thinking in your mind, man, I've had a really rough life. And I think you could look at it like this. I was speaking to a group last week that all of them were former drug addicts. They're trying to get their rehabs. And I think some of us in here that maybe had a tough childhood or teenage years or adulthood, we could look at our life and go, oh my gosh, you don't understand all that's happened to me. I look at it from the other side and think, man, what does the enemy think your potential is? Why? He must think you're something else if he keeps dealing you a bad hand. Man, he must think you're something. But at some point, we got to rise up. Say, I'm not going to take it anymore. Now, put it back to the territory. You saw the territory. That's all of our territory. We've talked about that. That's your present territory, July 2025. But take a look at this slide. The left side is your present territory. You've already talked about that. The right side, that's your future territory. That's your success that you still haven't had, and the enemy's scared of it. That is the business idea that you have that could finance this church and a bunch of other kingdom great stuff, but you still haven't done it. That's the kingdom impact that you could have. That is the influence. The enemy's scared of the influence you could gain for the cause of Christ. He's scared of the book you're supposed to write. And you know what? We're all rescuing churches. That's what I do, and you guys support it. He's scared of the churches that we're trying to help. Of course he's trying to stop us. Of course he is. He's always doing that. What is the answer to all of this? The answer is very simple, and it comes down to two words. Come on, say it with me. 1, 2, 3. You got to fight back. Come on, man. Fight back. Your kids are worth it. Your grandkids are worth it. Your finances are worth it. Your dreams are worth it. Your goals are worth it. Your kids are worth it. They're worth it. And you fight back. You don't sit back and go, oh, this is the best my life's going to get, as long as I just make it through and pay the bills. That does not sound like a life of victory. You don't fight for victory. You fight from victory. You've already won. You just got to get in the game and start swinging. The enemy's always trying to mess with us. Don't do that. Fight back for your current territory and your future territory. How do we fight back? There's 2 ways to fight back. It won't come up on the screen, so just write it down. Number 1, you fight back through your prayer life. If you don't have a prayer life, you don't know how to do it. See Bishop, his wife, one of the team members here. They'll talk to you about how to have a prayer life. A little 2-minute discussion right after church. They'll help you out with it. It's not that complicated. It's just having a conversation with God every day, like I had one this morning and every day of my life. And you know what I love to do? I love to spend time with God, talk to him like, God, here's what's going on. Here's what I need help with. Here's where I need some strength. God, this is what's happening. And I love ending it this way. Oh, by the enemy, I always do this. By the way, enemy, I know you're listening in, you eavesdropper. And since you're listening in on my prayer, I'm serving notice to you. Get your hands off my life. Get your hands off my present territory and get your hands off my future territory. And you got to pray that out. The second way is through your prayer life and then your thought life. Thought life. The battle is always right here, you guys. Listen, what does Proverbs say? Your life is shaped by your thoughts. What is your life shaped by? Your what? I'm no good. Well, guess where your life will be shaped? I'll never amount to anything. Well, then guess what will happen? Your life is shaped by your thoughts. You know, several years ago, 10 years ago or so, at South Hills Church, we had, I think, 90 employees at the time. And I remember one time, one of the associate pastors was like, man, we should have a weight loss contest. I want to lose some weight. Does anybody else want to? Ended up about 30 of us got together in a room from our team. I'm the lead pastor and a bunch of associates and different people. And he's like, oh, man, let's go on a 90-day run. And whoever loses the most, I'm in this room, the most weight in 90 days wins. And so I raised my hand. I'm the lead pastor. I'm like, what do we win? He goes, no, just the right and knowledge to know that you won. I go, that's not good. I want to win something. So I came up with an idea. I'm like, hey, why don't there's 30 of us. Why don't we all throw in $50? Whoever loses the most weight at the end of 90 days wins. Because that's what you want to do with your staff. Teach them to gamble. So we went on this 90-day run. I lost a bunch of weight. I came in third place. I didn't win. But I got to tell you, Bishop, man, it was like We were 6 weeks into it, halfway through. I was losing weight like crazy. I was starving. We had 5 morning services. I remember it was the 4th service, big auditorium, 4th service. I'm up there preaching, and the whole time I am so hungry. Everybody looked like a burrito. And I'd pray over someone and just see a Dr. Pepper. That's it, you know. Or communion would come by. Instead of 1, I would take like 18 because I was so hungry. Now, have you ever heard of the statement, you are what you eat? What does it say? You are what you? Okay, that's not only true in the physical, it's true in the spiritual. You are what you eat. Or another way of saying, you are whatever you allow to feed you. When the enemy comes and says, you're no good, good. Well, that's what you become. You'll never measure. You'll never be able to go anywhere. There's no territory you have. There's no future territory you have. And he starts feeding inside of your mind, and we start taking all of that, and we become what we allow ourselves to eat. You are what you eat, man. Listen to God or listen to the enemy. Listen to faith or listen to fear. You got to make your choice. And if we listen to God, it'll be a lot different. But the enemy's always coming to minimize our potential and everything that we're meant to be. Now, your territory might be different than mine. I bet it is. I bet if we went around this room and just had time, the things I'm fighting for are different than things you're fighting for. Because I don't know what's going on in your life. You don't know what's going on in my private life. We all have different territory. But listen. There is a territory that we all share. And you know what that territory is? It's the fight for the local church in America. It's not a fight that's up to me. It's a fight for all of us because we are the body of Christ. And the body of Christ, losing 3 churches for every 1 that opened, I would say it this way. The body of Christ is in the emergency room, and it's our job to get it out. It's our job to say, not on our watch. We're not going to be losing 3 for every 1. No. Let's reverse this tide. Let's do something about it. And we have. We started this 5 years ago. We started working with churches that were under 100, that 30 or 40 and about to die. We come in and give them 2 years of coaching for free. We give them emergency funding. We send them on a retreat, 4 days to the Rocky Mountains for free because we are rescuing these churches, and you are one of hundreds of churches that are helping us rescue dying churches because we believe the church is essential in America. We need to keep fighting for it and keep it open. I remember sharing 5 years ago when I brought a bunch of pastors together in a room. It all started in a room with 15 other pastors, and I shared with them something like this. I showed them, real quick, 1980. Do you know in the 60s and 70s and moving up into the 80s, the red, just so you know, the red represents the saturation of churches. A lot of churches in America. Did you know that more people were joining the church than babies were being born? We were killing it, man. We were killing it, okay? That was the 1980. Look how red that is. Now, go to the year 2000. See the red, how it gets a little smaller? Less churches. 2000 was the first year America started to close more than it opened. It was the very first year. And it only got worse. Then you go to the next one, 2020. Now it's 2 for everyone, and now 3 for everyone. You see the red dots, and it's got less. And right now we're in 2025. If everything just goes exactly the way it is for just 10 more years, 2035, that's what it'll look like. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. How many would say this? Not on our watch. No way. We got to fight back. So I want to tell you that we are fighting back. Hundreds and hundreds of churches have joined, and over a period of a year to 2, we've been able to help these churches go from 40 to 100 to 150 and come back to life and be lighthouses in their community. Just in the last month or 2, we've had another 155 more churches join in, and we coach them for free. We send them on retreats for free. Where do we get all this money? Because it happens here. We don't take a dime. If you said, here's $1,000, $1,000 goes to rescue churches. We don't have no admin costs, none. All of it is covered by something else. We just give it all away because we want to rescue dying churches. I want to show you a video, but before I do, could you grab your cell phone? I'm going to show you. Grab your cell phone. That's the thing you've been acting like you're taking notes on, but you're really texting. Don't act like I haven't noticed the difference either. Go ahead and grab that. This is a free digital book. Free. digital book. If you want a hard copy, it'll tell you how to get one. You don't have to buy that if you won't want to. Don't do it. But this is a free digital copy, and it is 11 different stories of churches that we've rescued. There are actual 11 different pastors wrote a chapter in each book about how they got rescued and what it meant to them. These 11 stories, you made that happen. Did you hear that, Zoe Church? These 11 stories from 11 different pastors, you helped to make that happen. So I want you to check that out. Now, in just a moment, we're going to show a video of a church in New Mexico. This church in New Mexico, probably running, I think there was like 60, 70 when they took over. Then the pastor, something happened. It got down to about 30, 40 people. They joined the rescue. We started working with them. We started rescuing them, started helping them, giving them wisdom, giving them thoughts, giving them ideas. That little church of 30 that was about to close their doors forever, lose another church. That church last week had 404 people in it. They are a rescued church. We believe that rescued churches rescue people. And I also believe that rescued churches will rescue America. And I just want to tell you this morning, thank you, Zoe Church, for coming to the rescue.